which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There's no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. It's not like Google and Facebook. It's not like Apple and Amazon. Yeah, we can debate Apple or Amazon. What's better? They both look like tech monopolies to me. They both look pretty good. On the other end, Bitcoin or no, Bitcoin.
GM and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have an update on what is going on in crypto here, with macro seemingly mattering once more. We've got a few rotations that are ongoing we'll bring to the table here, maybe talk about how I'm playing them or not, and also finish up with a deep dive for you as well to sink your teeth into. So if that sounds good, make sure you do subscribe to the channel and we can jump on in. So on screen here, we have Forex Factory and the calendar for today's events, Wednesday, the 20th of March. These are New York time, I believe. And you can see the Fed funds rate will be adjusted today, but potentially just remain the same. As you can see, that's the forecast. Previously 5.5% and forecast is 5.5%. So they're predicting there will be no change as of today. But what's important is the FOMC statement and the press conference that follows. So that will be around 6 to 6:30 p.m. UK time tonight. Just updated the calendar there for you. So this is an interesting one. Macro seemingly mattering yet again. So it was kind of off the radar in a big way, but I think these ETF flows have something to do with the macro. There's been a few higher than expected inflation prints. And so people positioning into the fact maybe the rate cuts aren't coming as soon as we hoped. Potentially, maybe some people are thinking they may have to increase interest rates, although that is pretty implausible from here due to the amount of debt that needs to be rolled over and the refinancing that these central banks are going to do. I would think cuts are firmly on the table, but we have a spanner in the works. So you can see from all these numbers on the right-hand side here, I know it's pretty small. When they're black, this means they're positive, so net inflows. But in the last 2 days, we've had 2 net outflows days, 18th of March, 19th of March. Yesterday, 326 mil of outflows, and the day previous, 154 mil. So generally what you can see across this data is that things have dried up over the last 2 days. So maybe ETF potential users and clients have decided, look, we'll wait and see what the outcome is of the Fed funds meeting and see if we can take things from there, because there's been a lot of zeros across the board yesterday. BlackRock with just 75 mil of inflows, Fidelity just 39 mil, and of course we have Grayscale, the 1,000 pound gorilla in the room, just offloading all their assets under management pretty much and ruining their business model by not reducing their fees in a sustainable manner or quickly enough. So that is where we stand, and it seems macro does in fact matter, and we'll see later on with the FOMC whether we go up or down from there. But people predicting Jay Powell likely to be more dovish than hawkish. We can see from a quick scan of Coingecko here, BTC is roughly 63,000 this morning. Some big down numbers on here, a few up numbers. We've got the likes of Fantom, Pepe, Stacks, Fetch, and then on the losers, AVAX, Sol, Whiff, Tron, just to name a few in there. So what's the news? We have this as a BTC update from Don Alt. So we said this is on a daily time frame now. Bitcoin shit close, barely held support, and reaction to going this low has been subpar. We haven't seen much of a bounce on the way down here. It's been pretty much, unanimously just going down into this support zone here at around 61K. So this guy, Don Alt, if you don't give him a follow, you should do for the kind of overall macro trends of Bitcoin. He's literally called all the major moves in the markets. So he says it supports here nonetheless, so fresh shorts seem ill-advised. It could easily bounce a few K from here or reverse from here. I'm personally not interested, he says, but getting there though. So potentially you're going to see Don Alt come and buy bottom, which could be around here. So low 60s is getting his interest peaked. I'm seeing quite a few traders on my timeline that I respect. Cold-blooded Schiller and others starting to deploy, as to his Pentoshi, which we'll talk about in just a moment. You can also see the deployment does not stop for one Michael J. Saylor. So yesterday he acquired via MicroStrategy 9,245 Bitcoins an average price of 67,300 and change. So the DCA machine from Saylor does not have any letup. And this is key from CryptoQuants. Again, post some decent data now and then. But he says MicroStrategy now owns more Bitcoin than the government of China, who they have recorded as having 194k BTC, and the US government, who have 210,000 Bitcoins, as Saylor now has 214,000 BTC, which, if you can do maths, 21 million coins, he owns 214,000. He has over 1% of the supply of Bitcoin, which is rather unfathomable. That is something that I know a lot of people do when it comes to like meme coins, try and own 1% of the supply of a meme coin. He's doing it with damn Bitcoin. So if you are shitting yourself in the market right now, keep your head on, as we're seeing a lot of good news here. This is just a bit of a wash out, people taking profits, potentially scared by macro. But things positively are still flowing, and we are in a macro uptrend. We have this world's largest pension fund in Japan, $1.3 trillion of AUM, are looking to add Bitcoin to their portfolio. So that is obviously of interest when you have people with huge amounts of capital declaring that they want to come in and maybe make a small allocation into BTC. And then we would have another TWAP into the market. Now this one is super interesting. A non-mover really for Ethereum off the back of this, but BlackRock has seeded its first tokenization digital asset fund. So they've talked about previously, Larry Fink on TV, the tokenization of everything onto blockchain rails. They've now seeded this strategic fund with $100 million on the Ethereum network. So 100 mil in USDC has gone into an Ethereum smart contract, and we'll see what they do with it from here. But this is a big signal to the market that Ethereum potentially is going to be the global settlement layer for the big funds, the big asset managers, to actually do things like tokenization of real world assets. So this is good for ETH, good for RWAs, and potentially as well for the ETH ETF as well, that BlackRock doing some major signaling here. 100 mil to them, obviously not a huge amount of money, but this is definitely bullish. Market did not react though, however, which is a sign of the sentiment right now. So in terms of rotations, the two that are ongoing right now are Fantom and Base. So these are the kind of traders in the market saying, look, we're moving over to this chain and that chain. This chain being Fantom, as you can see on screen here. It's technically kind of an L2 for ETH, and it has had a very bad bear market, but seemingly coming out the other side. If you just look at this is the weekly chart for Fantom. It has broken a key area here. If I just put a horizontal ray across this kind of 60-ish cent region, it was broken, as you can see there. And then it's just started to absolutely turbo bid through here. So that is a long consolidation. How many days is that? So we weren't above that region for 665 days. Wow. And now it's just broken that to the upside. And so I think potential targets here, maybe up to like $2 in the not too distant future. As we've seen, obviously, Bitcoin break highs. You've seen Solana push towards previous highs. You're seeing maybe Ethereum will do similarly soon. And some of these more bullish layer 2 environments also likely to bid. So they have a big upgrade coming called the Sonic upgrade for Fantom. We'll see how that plays out, but Fantom does look really strong on the weekly. So that is the reason why Fantom and its ecosystem are getting bids. And the other area is Base. And Base have done a huge amount with account abstraction, and they're easily going to allow for their users on Coinbase actual exchange to utilize the chain itself. So people are saying some of these memes on Base chain are going to go absolutely AWOL. And it seems we have a bit of a mover here in Normie, quite a funny looking character here. Normie on Base. This puts it at around 120, 130 mil market cap, as there's a 1 billion supply. But a lot of the traders on crypto Twitter, some wealthy individuals, have pumped into this one. So not saying it's a definite good buy at this stage because it's up a lot since the lows just yesterday. 4 cents up to 13 cents is not a buy for me. I did spot it at 7s yesterday and I'm kind of kicking myself I didn't get in, but it is what it is. Not going to chase all of the pumps, but it's interesting to see people saying, look, if Coinbase can onboard, say, 100 mil people into crypto this cycle, obviously there's going to be some big winners on the Base chain itself. So I think this is a good signal to maybe do some exploration into Base, as it could be a good play at some point in this crypto bull market. Then we have Ansem posting about Solana dominance, which is certainly in an uptrend. And he says Solana dominance to 10% in that top right-hand corner there. It's currently at 3.3%, so 10% he's suggesting as the target. And someone just below had posted this. So at a 10 trillion crypto market cap total, which is kind of the expectation or target for this cycle that a lot of people are talking about, if we have 10% Sol dominance, that would put Sol at a $1 trillion market cap, which is quite an eye-watering target of $2,000 per Sol. So that is something to potentially think about. Then we have Pentoshi posting total 3. So total 3 is the market cap of all the coins excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this will look at the altcoins. So he said this, super close to that 640 mark and looking to buy some spikes down on a select few alts. Possible we chop consolidate around this area for a bit too. So around $640 billion for total 3. This is the chart in a better color here. And as you can see, it did spike down to 645, I think it was, in a wick, currently a 675. And so we kind of had that retest down to this key area. So whether or not we chop around here for a while here, the expectation generally from people who are smarter than myself is up. But obviously we have to have some pullbacks along the way. So a notable takeaway, smart money is looking to invest at these areas where this is the kind of area where people will be panic selling. So this is obviously the movement of coins from impatient hands to more patient hands, which is the kind of ethos of trading. So definitely something to take note of. Then finally, any of you who are into DeFi, check out my explainer, a big one on Tapioca DAO over on the Blockmates channel here. I'll leave a link to this down below. It's a seriously in-depth one, 27 minutes. If you do like DeFi and you want to see the Aave killer, an omnichain money market, maybe you don't even know what those terms are that I've just mentioned, it's definitely worth taking a look at this to see how we are progressing in the crypto space technologically going into this cycle. I think Tapioca is going to eat the lunch of a lot of money markets out there. It has its own stable coin backed by non-centralized assets and yield-bearing assets as well at that. Definitely interesting. Check it out. Come and subscribe to Blockmates. Also helps me out a bit as well. End of shill from me. Anyway, I hope you have a good day out there. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.